Just follow after me. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down.
Oh, I'm touching myself tonight.
No, officer. There's nothing fishy going on here at all. Haven't you ever seen anyone standing with a CCTV camera in their shirt? Nothing wrong at all.
Just follow after me. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Gonna throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it. Let's have some fun.
Hey, what's up, interwebs? Alyssa Knight here with another episode of KnighTV. And today we're going to be talking about hacking CCTV cameras and NVRs. You know, I don't understand what it is. I'll write this amazing blog, like awesome blog. It'll be on hacking TCUs or hacking connected cars or performing a risk assessment against electronic control units or connected cars. And it'll get like 400 views, right? It'll measly 300, 400 views. I think I've gotten them at the most, maybe 500, 600 views. Anyway, I post a picture of an R2-D2 looking Axis camera.
R2-D2, Your Highness.
Literally, it actually does look like R2-D2. Anyway, I post a picture of an Axis IP camera and make a joke about how my fiance walked in and saw this sitting on my desk and just wanted to know that it was legal, whatever it was I was doing, you know, hashtag married to a hacker. Anyway, and it gets 70,000 views. Not 7,000, not 700, not 70, 70,000 views. You know, I don't get it. Like, do we just not like to read anymore?
Cornelius, I guess.
Thank you. I did indeed make a commercial. It emphasizes the imagination of books.
We just like really weird looking R2-D2 style pictures that we glance at that just flies by on our LinkedIn wall. And if it looks funny, we click on it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just saying, I think I've written some cool blogs and they're incredibly educational and walk you through actually how to do things. You actually take something away from it. But I post a picture of just a camera and joke about how my fiance walked into the house and saw it on my desk and asked one question of, just tell me it's legal. And that post gets 70,000 views. Anyway, so this vlog episode is about hacking CCTV cameras. Several of you have asked what exactly I'm hacking, what it is that I'm doing, and why. So, all right. First off, many of you guys have probably seen these mounted on the bottom of drones. Large drones, of course, as well as above casino tables in casinos. These are Axis IP cameras. And the neat thing about these cameras is if you remove the lid, it's actually pretty cool. You know, you've got your SD card slot here. I don't know if you guys can see that. You also have your Ethernet port that's at the bottom, right in there. You know, the interesting thing here about CCTV cameras, and I'm going to just pick on Axis today because that's the kind of cameras that I'm hacking at the moment. But the thing about CCTV cameras is if you look at these enclosures, right? You look at this one, and this is obviously an indoor camera. And this is their outdoor camera, right? This actually goes outside. Well, the interesting thing about CCTV cameras is if you open it up, right? If you look at the enclosure, you look at the inside here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me try and angle this. You guys see that Ethernet port there? I mean, these are okay. Basically, what I'm trying to say is it's clear that the vulnerability epidemic in CCTV cameras is a direct result of their focus on physical security, right? These are physical security devices. Make no mistake about it. CCTV cameras, security cameras in general, are physical security controls, all right? I think historically, these companies just focused on physical security, meaning that you've got these, not just Phillips screws, not flatheads, just these, I don't even know what to call it. It's a star screw. Anyway, you go down to Home Depot. I guess, their thought is not everybody's got a star screwdriver on them. It'll make it more secure. You can't get access to the Ethernet port on these by just walking up to it, right? So you need to sit there and you need to unscrew the star screws, and then you can pop off the enclosure and gain access to the Ethernet port in the SD card slot. Now, the thing is that there have been several questions as far as what is. Let's try that again. There have been several questions on the thread on LinkedIn about why. Listen, several people have come up to me with questions on either Twitter DMs or on LinkedIn and asked, after posting the screenshots of the ability for me to execute RCE, which is remote command execution, against these devices, including an NVR here, why were these possible? Why are these vulnerabilities so systemic across CCTV cameras? And I think that's it. I think it's the fact that these companies just have focused historically so much on the physical security of the cameras that cybersecurity really, I guess, didn't enter their world. It didn't enter their thought process. I don't know. Someone from Access or someone from these CCTV companies, if you're out there, feel free to chime in and comment. But that's if I were to make a conjecture about why these are so prevalent, you see, many of you guys probably remember what's wrong with me today? Many of you guys probably remember the DDoS botnet attacks from 2016, where you had all of these CCTV cameras. I think it was 15,000 HTTP requests per second across 10,000 plus CCTV cameras. And, for me, I don't really care about the DDoS attacks. I don't really care about denial of service. I care about remote command execution. I care about the RCE vulnerabilities. So, that you've seen historically going all the way back to, 2010, vulnerabilities in the CVE database affecting CCTV cameras and IP cameras. And that's the only thing I can think of as far as why. Why are these CCTV cameras so vulnerable? I don't think they thought through those kind of things. I don't think they thought about, maybe we should have a penetration tester look at these cameras before we put them out to market. And I think that's a mindset that we need to change to. I think that's what we in corporate America need to start realizing, is that things that weren't historically connected, things that we historically just addressed physical security concerns and issues. You look at, connected cars. The automotive industry is going through a huge inflection point, a huge transition right now, where you have these CAN networks within connected cars that were historically not connected to the outside world. You have these devices, these electronic control units. You have these CCTV cameras. You have all of these things that were previously not connected or accessible, and now they are accessible over TCP/IP, accessible to the internet. These things just weren't previously accessible. And I think these companies need to just change their thought process. I think they need to think about this differently. If you're putting a camera out, if you're putting a product out that's connected, that's accessible, that's networked, you need to have a penetration tester pen test it. Now, the reason why I'm doing this research right now is, as many of you know, I'm a recovering hacker. I write a different style of content asset, a different style of ebook or report that's definitely more technical. So for example, if the product is supposed to be a web application firewall, I'll deploy it in front of a web app. I'll attempt to breach the web app. I'll attempt to compromise the system and see if the web application firewall will see that attempt, will either detect and prevent it or take action. So I write a different kind of content asset. So I'm a content creator focused singularly on cybersecurity. Having said that, SentinelOne, which is an endpoint detection and response company, an EDR company, retained me to create content assets for them and be an influencer for their company. And one of the first reports that I'm writing for them is on their SentinelOne Ranger product. What SentinelOne Ranger is it actually allows customers to leverage their existing SentinelOne deployment without putting out additional agents out there on their network. And what it does is it addresses the asset management issue around IoT devices. A lot of times organizations will get breached simply just because they don't know about all of the IoT devices that are out there. They don't know that they've got connected cameras out there that may have not been patched recently, or that were even connected still and they weren't supposed to be, or they were supposed to be decommissioned. Whatever the reason is, the IoT security attack surface, the IoT attack surface is predominantly a vulnerability because the organization doesn't know they've got them. So SentinelOne Ranger addresses this issue, among other things, as it relates to IoT security. So I am demonstrating how it's possible, which SentinelOne Ranger helps organizations to secure against, is how you can breach an IoT device and pivot from that IoT device into the internal network. In my case, I'm compromising an access IP camera, as well as an NVR, which the cameras stream to. So IP cameras work in several ways. Number one, you can just connect to it with a web browser and watch the video footage live and just stream it live. It's not recorded anywhere. You're just watching the camera from your web browser. The other way is to actually also configure the camera to log to an NVR. Obviously, in an enterprise deployment, you're going to be connecting your CCTV cameras to an NVR. You're going to have it recording somewhere. Having a live feed of cameras doesn't really do anyone any good because you can't go back and look at that historical video. So their vulnerability is not only just in the CCTV cameras, but also in the NVR. So over the past few days, I've been posting screenshots from my penetration test where I'm showing evidence of being able to actually exploit RCEs against these devices and then jump onto the internal network. So the point is to breach the IoT device and then pivot to an internal machine on the internal network in the Windows domain, gain domain admin privileges, and breach the network from there. So you saw recently how the casino was compromised through the thermometer in the aquarium, the IoT device, the connected thermometer in the aquarium. I'm doing something different. The cameras in the casino being my pivot point, compromising the cameras and then jumping onto the internal network from the camera or NVR. So that's it. That's what I'm up to. Right now, I've been able to successfully execute the RCE. I can execute commands. The point that I'm at in my penetration test is I'm building a custom reverse shell. I prefer to use Meterpreter. It's just quicker and easier. So I'm building a Meterpreter binary. Probably will use Veil Framework, which is an encrypted binary. And I'm going to have the system TFTP. I'm having the device TFTP the binary to the device and then execute it. Once I've executed it, will initiate a reverse connection back to my attacker host, which will be listening probably on the default port 4444, allowing me to then have a shell on the device and be able to pivot from there to the other internal devices on the internal network. So that's it for this episode of KnighTV. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Definitely like this video, subscribe if you haven't. My goal is to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the quarter. So help me out in that endeavor. Yeah, okay. Different clothes. I was working out at the gym and I was thinking, I gave them the bread, but none of the meat. You're probably thinking, what the hell is she talking about? Well, basically, I realized that I recorded this entire vlog and talked about all the things that really you could care less about and really left out the most important things. So as you know, the SentinelOne report will be coming out, so definitely keep an eye out for it. I will be posting screenshots from the penetration test of the cameras and the NVR to my Twitter account, so definitely continue following me on Twitter. And if you don't follow me yet, you should follow me. You should be following me. But basically, I will be posting screenshots from the penetration test there on Twitter as well as LinkedIn as I continue this report writing. One of the things that I'm being asked a lot is, but how do you actually defend against this type of attack? And that's a great question. You know, you can't really secure a camera like you can an IIS web server or an Apache web server. It's different. It's the same concepts, but obviously the security controls will be different. Of course, definitely, I would say you should be using SentinelOne Ranger. It's designed to help you secure IoT devices like this. There's, of course, other options out there. The one, after looking at the different options on the market, I prefer SentinelOne Ranger. I think the fact that it's not yet another agent you have to roll out into your enterprise, I think CISOs are just tired of having to push agents out. And to add another agent onto that stack on their already overbloated endpoints, I just think that the fact that SentinelOne combines that in their same EDR agent, that you can sort of add on, if you will, that security control for your IoT devices, I think is the value proposition, a huge value proposition right there. The fact that it's not another agent that you need to roll out. It's going to be your basic tenets of proper cybersecurity program, proper cyber hygiene. And that's understanding what it is you've got. You know, one of the biggest responses that I get when performing a penetration test and delivering the report from the CISO is, wow, I thought those were decommissioned, or wow, I didn't know that we haven't been upgrading those. Making sure that your IoT security devices are part of your vulnerability and patch management program. New firmware is pushed out by these vendors all the time. You know, a lot of the security cameras, a lot of the IP and CCTV cameras that I run into, they're usually running really old firmware. And these companies like Axis, they distribute management consoles that you should be logging into regularly, where they try and simplify being able to check and push out updates like new firmware. So, you know, make sure that your IoT devices are part of the same vulnerability and patch management program that your web server, that the rest of your servers in your environment are part of. That patching effort, making sure that your IoT devices are patched regularly and you know what you've got deployed out there, needs to be treated the same way as your other devices on your network. So that's really what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to add this in there really fast. I was thinking about it while on the treadmill, and I was thinking, I really didn't tell them what they need to do what do they do about this? I really didn't say what you actually need to do to protect against these types of attacks, but definitely take a look at SentinelOne Ranger. If you have IoT devices on your network, which you most likely do, take a look at SentinelOne Ranger. It's a great solution. It's a great product. I will be writing a report on it, but I'll get into the weeds on the technology, explaining what it looks like, what it does, how it works, and why you need it. So
please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
If you like this video, definitely comment on it. Fuck it. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.